that time. What's happening in your city? You got love for your city? City Views. City Views. City Views. City Views. City Views. Oh, City Views. City Views. City Views. City Views. Oh, City Views. City Views. City Views. City Views. Oh, City Views. City Views. City Views. City Views. City Views. Oh, City Views. 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 And welcome to City Views. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to your local access channel, Altice 5, for another episode. Glad to be here with you. Want to welcome my co-host, the one and only, the lovely, the talented, Coryse Villarouel.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I've missed everyone. I'm back.
She's back.
I don't know why I'm back in the cold, but I'm back. I went on a nice Caribbean vacation.
I know you had fun, man.
Oh, the sun was lovely. The
Saw
beaches were even...
Saw the kids on the beach.
Why am I here? Why am I back?
Oh, man, I don't know. Should have gave us all tickets. We would have came out there with you, man.
And with us also, my main man, Kareem Holbrook, also known as Balzalini.
Yes, sir.
Right there.
See.
And we want to send out our sentiments to the fourth member of the crew, the fourth leg, as it were, Miss Karen Thomas, who is attending some personal business this evening. But we're sending her the best and hope to see her back in the big chair next week.
Yes, next week, and we'll have a special show next week.
We will have a special show next week. And we're excited about today's show, as always. We're going to be have some calling guests. Michelle Cook will be calling in to give us an update on what's going to be going on in this upcoming House session that takes place starting this Wednesday. And also we'll be hearing from Chris Maine from one of our sponsors, Brooks, Todd, and McNeill. Wow. He's insurance salesman for the organization, and we're going to have a conversation with him about the industry.
I ran into him today.
Yeah, well, I hope you didn't hurt yourself.
I did not.
Running into people and everything. What's wrong with you, girl? Better get your stuff together. But before we go any further with the show, we want to take this time to show our sponsors some City Views love.
Yes, sir. Our big city sponsors goes out to Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Better protection, better value. They can be reached at 860-496-7771 or on the web at tothins@oponline.net. Mel Brickman and Health Market, located at 16 McDermott Ave, Suite number 1 in Torrington, Connecticut.
Better call Mel.
He can be reached at 860-307-1128 or on the web at healthmarkets.com/local-health-ins. Brooks, Todd, and McNeill Insurance, located at 69 Water Street in Torrington, Connecticut. And they've been keeping an eye on your insurance needs since 1839. They can be reached at 860-598-8753 or on the web at brookstoddmcneil.com. And to Dr. Michael Curry, located at 30 Peck Road, Suite 2105 in Torrington, Connecticut. Pediatric care for over 50 years. He can be reached at 860-482-8177 or on the web at torringtonpediatrics.com.
All right. Thank you, Kareem.
Yes, sir.
For our big city sponsors. And it's about that time as we step into the month of February. It is Black History Month.
Yes.
And I proudly announce the presentations that Culture for a Cause is going to be giving for Black History Month. We've been invited back to Bantam Cinema
Yes.
for our second showing of our music documentary, The John Brown Project, His Truth is Marching On. And that'll be taking place February 16th.
And it's already sold out, I heard.
It's already sold out.
Wow.
And we're going to be collaborating with the Berlin School District and their BEAT program. I think it's Berlin Entertains the Arts team.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're beating it.
Okay.
But they're going to be teaming up with us for their film presentation as well. And then we got some excellent news. We were selected by the Black History Film Festival to present at their festivals taking place in Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Very nice.
So the word is getting out about one of Torrington's own, John Brown, as we present him as part of our arts celebration, and we're looking forward to that. And then we're going to be presenting at Central Connecticut State University.
Nice.
So got a full month for Black History Month for the month of February, and want to give a big shout out to Dan Morrison, the producer of the project, and his hard work and efforts in making sure that his truth continues to march on.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to everyone involved. And I did want to do a couple of mentions for Black History Month, because I know that we tend to look at historical figures and give them their props and whatnot, which is always proper. But I want to take this time to recognize two former contributors to City Views.
Yes.
The late Bill Battle and also the late Wilbert Weebo Bowles.
Yes.
And there was just a celebration a few days ago on Wilbert's birthday, and I got an invitation from his family to attend the event. Unfortunately, I couldn't go, but I wanted to make sure that we gave him a mention on the show, because he was a beloved part of the show, not only the show, of the community.
Yes.
And
for sure.
always putting his best efforts into whatever he could do to make a difference in the community. Bill Battle had that same ilk about him. He and Sam Slaby hosted the show for a number of years before they turned the reins over to me, and it was always so interesting to hear their conversations, because they were very educated men, Renaissance men, as I used to call them, because they knew a little bit about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they shared that with us here on the show, and definitely made the show much more informational and edifying in that realm. So we celebrate locals here on Black History Month.
That's
Right.
That's
Cheers.
right.
That contributed
Cheers
to
to
our
that.
community
Cheers to them.
and
Cheers to them.
made us better because of it. So we're also going to be checking out some segments that our field team recorded. We're going to be checking out Salt 2.0 here in a little bit, seeing what's going on there. And then later on the show, we're going to be seeing what's going on at Red Room Sound Studios with
Yes.
their Live at the Red Room collaboration with WAPJ. You heard?
Big.
You know what it is. Now, Coryse,
Yes.
big event today at City Hall.
Big event, big event. There was a big job fair at City Hall today put on by the Northwest Chamber. And I had the pleasure of being able to attend and taking some pictures
Yeah.
and speaking to some of the exhibitors that were there. And I just kind of wanted to mention a few of them.
Absolutely.
So let me put on my spectacles here.
She's making a spectacle out of herself.
Okay. So there was A&B Home Care Solutions, AEI Staffing, All-Star Transportation, special mentions Altec Electronics.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of speaking with them a little about what Altec Electronics do. And I also spoke to the Mental Health Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great organization. They help people, troubled people, just find their way in society. So that was really good to speak to them. And then let me see, Athena Healthcare Systems was there. Brooks, Todd, and McNeill.
Yeah.
Chris was there from Brooks, Todd, and McNeill. They were there. And then there's Howmet Aerospace.
Interesting company. Interesting company.
Very interesting.
Yes.
They make all their turbine parts, I believe. And they're right in Winstead.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they're right in Winstead. They're looking for machinists, but you must have CNC qualifications, I believe. Unimetal Surface Finishing as well was there. I mean, the list goes on and on. There was a great list of people, and I wanted to just kind of talk about, I spoke to Lori, who's the HR director at Howmet, and yeah, they make turbine engines, machine operators they're looking for, and it's right after the VFW in Winstead. It's where they're located. And I also spoke to Athena, and they have facilities, Valerie Manor, Sharon, and Litchfield Woods as well. And then there was this one interesting, have you heard of Wellspring?
Yes.
I have never heard of Wellspring.
Yep.
It is like a, kind of like its own little community, housing community for troubled women and troubled, like female teens.
Right.
And it's it's the way the houses are, it's very like quintessential New England, old buildings, like 1900s buildings. And they really just help the teens and young women who are struggling with, different abuse systems, and help them get back on their feet. Beautiful facility. They have a lot of animals, and they use the animals in therapy as well. But it's located in Bethlehem, I believe. So again, here I am. I've been in Torrington for over 30 years, and never knew that some of these places existed. And
learn something new every day.
Learn something new every day. There's so much in the Northwest corner, so much work in the Northwest corner, so many different companies looking for great workers. So it was a great event to attend. It was well attended. A lot of people were there. It was hard to find parking.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Some people
Hard
were
to find parking.
definitely commenting about that when I got there.
I'm just glad I didn't get a ticket. I stayed longer than I thought I would be there for. I was probably there for a good 45 minutes. So, yeah, but it was good.
There's so much opportunity right now in the Northwest corner, job-wise, culture and tourism-wise. Our sectors are coming together in a very unique way that will allow for our region to become very vibrant over the next few years. The regional educational partnerships, the regional sector partnerships with manufacturing, and this is high-tech, high-paying jobs too.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is the manufacturing community is working closely with the regional educational partnership so that they can offer students those curriculums that will help them get to those specific jobs. There's also work being done with apprenticeships and with the VOAG educational curriculum, so that they're preparing the future by letting these students and residents know which sectors are going to be best for them to make those career moves in. So I'm looking forward to having some of those stakeholders on the show so that we can talk to them and they can share with the community just exactly how they can make their way and make it here.
Make it here, yep. And I spoke to a lot of these vendors, and hopefully we can get a lot of them exhibitors on the show as well, so they can really talk to us about what the company is all about. I mean, these are some amazing companies out there right in this Northwest corner.
Yeah, and I think sometimes their works kind of get lost in the shuffle, and I think we can be very helpful in making sure that we gather that information to get that out to those prospective employees, so that people can increase their economic stakeholders. So it's one hand feeds the other, and we want to be definitely contributing to that process here on City Views.
That's right.
Yes.
And I think, can we get ready to line up that salt? I think it's ready to go. So check this out. Our field representatives doing their thing and highlighting some of the assets here in our area. So without further ado, what's up, gang? The crew.
I'm Pascal James.
And I'm Joe Severo, and today we'd like you to join us at Salt 2.0 in downtown Torrington.
Conveniently located right next to the Warner Theater, Salt 2.0 is a great option on show nights.
But honestly, Salt's an accessible and desirable option every day of the week. The restaurant's open from 11:30 to 8 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, and 11:30 to 9 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays.
The food service is quick and the options are both affordable and healthy. They fix grain bowls, wraps, burritos, salads, and my vegan friends tell me that the vegan burrito is to die for.
Not to mention they have a finely curated lineup of international and regional draft beers, and Bud Light too.
There's also a great wine selection and a full cocktail bar. The best part might be the seating. I love watching sidewalk traffic from the front section.
The venue is both spacious and inviting.
There's a ping pong table in the upper wing and tap TV interactive trivia at the bar. When you come to Salt, you choose the experience.
Salt 2.0 was born out of necessity during the pandemic. The original Salt 2.0 was open in Litchfield. A dining room of the Saltwater Grill was cleverly converted into an offshoot to provide food for pickup.
You can order online for pickup, or you can order online to sit in, or you can request that a wait person take your order the old-fashioned way. For City Views, I'm Pascal James,
And I'm Joe Severo.
connecting you with Salt 2.0.
And we're back, and we want to thank Joe and Pascal and the whole field correspondent crew for doing their thing and highlighting the assets here, not only in Torrington, but throughout the region. So look for more segments coming from the crew right here on City Views. So as we await the call from Michelle, I just want to share with our audience, we had the legislative agenda meeting this Monday at the Northwest Hills COG, which is the Council of Governments. This 22-town region has selectmen that work in tandem to focus on the issues that these small and rural towns in the northwest corner face. And in putting together the legislative agenda, it's a collaborative process where they get together and share just what those issues are, how they can use regionalization to help meet some of those challenges, and how coming together in terms of giving our region an identity, they can share resources and in return hopefully inform the citizenry as to what those resources are. So I thought that it was very impactful and something that the community can take full stock in terms of these individuals that are out there making sure that they're enhancing the quality of life for our residents. And I want to tip my hat to Rob Phillips and his crew putting it together, and also to Rissa Malanka, who's also working with the COG now, putting together the CEDS, which is the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy for the region. and putting together that strategy, it makes it a little bit easier to clarify what those issues are, so that when you send in, or submit the legislative agenda to our representatives, they can create the proper language in order to make sure that they can get, those recommendations to committee and then to the floor for a vote. I think that because there's a lot of people don't necessarily understand the way government works. It is an ongoing learning process, but once you kind of see how things work, you become a little less cynical, because you understand that our system and the way it works, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way.
That's right.
I think they made the best song. Do you remember that song for kids? How a Bill is Made.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm only a bill on Capitol Hill.
I'm sorry,
They need
you
to bring
talked
those
about.
back, man.
They need to,
bring
yeah,
those
they
back,
need.
man,
I think
for
one of these days we just need to play that song.
You remind everybody,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's true in terms of there is a need for more civics education.
Yeah.
Because people, their lives are busy, and not everyone has the time to really dig deep into these issues so that they can understand them for themselves.
Right.
So we look to these media sources and these media outlets to kind of help us be more informed, so that we can make better decisions for our businesses, for our families, and for our communities. So I think going forward, we're going to try to play our part to fill in that gap with some of the initiatives that we're developing, so that we can stay in touch with the community and help in this process to make a difference, to bring our region together. And it's interesting because each of the towns in this region have their own unique characteristics that make those towns special.
Sure.
So, highlighting those unique assets, and highlighting and promoting those assets to the rest of the state, and ultimately to the rest of the nation.
Yeah.
So that we can make a compelling statement for new residents to move and live and work here, and for current residents to stick around and stay.
Stick around and stay. Yep. Do you know exactly how many towns comprise the northwest corner?
26.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because Torrington being the most populated town in the region, gives us a unique responsibility, being that hub. It just puts us in a situation where we can make those broad strokes in terms of defining who we ultimately are and what our identity will become. And with that being said, I do think we have Michelle on the line. Am I correct in that assumption? So you want to hit the button?
All right. Do I remember what button to hit? The one with the red light?
Yeah, then press the green. No, down. Yeah,
Oh, there we go. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Hey.
What's cooking?
What is cooking?
We were just talking about our legislative agenda meeting this Monday, and the role that the COG is playing in developing the vision for the northwest corner, and highlighting the assets of each individual town and creating that identity for the region.
Yes, I think the work is vitally important, and the partnerships are even more important. So I can't thank you guys enough.
Well, it's kind of one of those situations where once you tap your toe in the water, you got to get all the way.
That's true. There's no staying ankle deep. That's for sure.
Well, Michelle, it was a great meeting, and we missed you. Obviously, you weren't feeling too well, so we understand your absence. But the bipartisan efforts that we see in our delegation, I think, gives people a lot of hope in making sure that you guys are giving us a hearty voice in Hartford and leading the way for those legislative matters to be taken into consideration.
Well, Jacque, you bring up a very good point. We do work very well together, and although sometimes the priorities don't necessarily align, that would be boring if we always agreed on everything. But, at the end of the day, it's really about putting our communities first, and I think that you have a good group of legislators that try to do that to the best of their ability.
Yeah, and you guys are always, available to us. We have our monthly government relations meeting through the Northwest Connecticut Area Chamber of Commerce that I might add. You all are free to attend. If you go to the Chamber website, you can sign up, and if you can't make it in person, we can send you an invite Zoom link so that you can hear and talk to our representatives in a more intimate setting. And I think, Michelle, are you...
Michelle, are you cooking?
I'm literally just listening. I dropped my keys right on the counter, so you go right ahead.
Well, I think it's been very impactful because people have made comments that they don't always know what our reps do in Hartford, and hearing the committees that you guys work on and the issues that you take up gives our members that attend a great deal of confidence in the fact that you guys can get the job done.
Correct, and I think that if you look at exactly what you just said, we have Representative Horde that's chairing the Finance Committee. You have, that's an instrumental part of our legislative process. And although she doesn't represent Torrington anymore, she is a big influence in the entire Northwest corner.
Yep.
So, and then when you have a variety of other folks in different positions, and I can't even begin to list them all, but we do have, the Northwest corner, and for myself, Torrington specific, right at the core of everything that we do and the decisions that we make. And it does matter when people reach out and say, hey, look, this impacts me, or this impacts my family, or what about this? Because at the end of the day, we can't read everybody's minds. It would be great if we had that ability, but we can't. And hearing from people to know how things affect them or how they feel about something, we might not be able to solve all the problems. We might not be able to address every issue, but I think the communication is what makes us a very unique group.
Absolutely, and the consistency in which those communications take place, I think, is the aspect that is even more important, because you start to understand things much more clearly. When you have those opportunities to meet on a regular basis, and it becomes a part of your schedule, a part of your routine, and then it just helps you kind of put those priorities in place so that what to suggest and recommend to our representatives to make sure that those needs are being addressed.
No, that's absolutely true, and I think I figured out what the noise was. I think it's my earrings on the phone. But
okay.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. It really all makes sense. The one thing too, Jacque, I want to say is with forums and outreach like the program that we do every Tuesday night here, the Northwest Connecticut Chamber, and a whole host of other things, I also think really brings us to a point where there should be no reason why our community doesn't feel like they're heard, because there's so many avenues to be heard. So if there is a gap in that, then we need to know what that gap is so we can fill it. I know myself, I do like weekly e-blasts. I try to do newsletters. We have websites and information that comes out almost daily in most cases. And so if folks are not getting information, please log on to your legislator's Facebook page or their e-blast or their email threads, specifically the legislators. But I would also say that for like the chamber, or even you talk about our channel right here. If you don't catch us live, you can find us, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
the information is out there. It's accessible. Please get involved, because at the end of the day, as we've said 1,000 times, and we'll say it 1,000 times more, it takes a village to make change, and that's working together. And you might have one person leading the change, but it takes a whole lot of people to get behind it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think some of the challenges that were, brought up in this last meeting, affordability was one issue. Obviously, the budget is another issue. Early childhood education is a big issue, and one in which it's close to your heart. And how we treat our elderly. Coming up with more resourceful ways where we can take care of our, elderly loved ones in a home setting. What are the challenges facing that as opposed to an institutional setting? So, tackling these challenges and, fleshing them out in a way that you come up with solid solutions, not just, hand-me-down solutions in terms of just coming up with something just to come up with it. We want to have remedies that actually work and that can be sustained. And that does require a lot of communication and, innovation.
And cost effectiveness
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Well, right, and I think that we should all require a results-based accountability approach.
Right.
How are we spending our money, and what are the results that we're getting for that? And if it's not working, how do we fix it?
Exactly.
I'm definitely not a person that believes that we should reinvent the wheel, but perfect the wheel. And if somebody else is doing it, let's figure out how to do it the way that they're doing it, and then let's better it if it needs to be bettered. Or how do we adapt it to our community and to our needs? And tomorrow starts our legislative session for the short session. It's the end of the 2-year biennial, so it's not a budgetary year. It's more of a budgetary fix type of a situation. And it's the sprint session is what I call it. It's February to May, so it's really, really quick. And this is what we're trying to do. And before I hopped on with you, I was meeting with the Early Childhood Education Commissioner, Commissioner Bai, and trying to really figure out what we're doing with the Blue Ribbon Panel's recommendations. And today has really been a day of bookends for me. The beginning of our life and the end of our life. I had meetings about early childhood education and meetings with the Aging Committee.
Yep.
And we need to do better on both fronts.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
If we don't, our foundation for children needs to be set in the early childhood arena. It doesn't need to be set in kindergarten. It needs to start before that.
Yep.
And as we age out of this life, we deserve to do that with dignity and respect and the appropriate care.
That's right.
And so for me, as you all know me and know me well, those are two of the biggest passions that I have, is really looking at what those bookends of our life are and how we're treated in those regards.
It's very important. Michelle, I just came back from a trip to Trinidad, and the main purpose of that trip was to take care of my father in terms of, healthcare, medical, seeing about his needs on that end. And it made me realize that, he is getting older and he does need to be taken care of, and we need to make sure things are set in place. And even in a different country, it's still vitally important. So, yeah, you're totally right there.
No, absolutely, absolutely correct. That doesn't have boundaries. It doesn't just happen to us here in Connecticut. It happens to all of us. And if we're blessed enough to live to that point, then hopefully, we have the opportunity to see it work better.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, we do have to move along with the show. We have another caller coming in, but we look forward to getting an update from you after the opening of the session later on this week.
Absolutely. I look forward to chatting with you all soon, and be safe out there.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right. It's about that time, the bottom of the hour.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say one thing that Michelle was talking about, how to better the wheel. And if it's one thing I've learned throughout this life is, if there's one thing that's constant, is change. Mm-hmm. And we can't stop things from changing. So we need to learn how to change with the times and how to better things as one system can't always stay the same, and sometimes you need to reinvent that way, like Michelle
Innovation.
Right. Innovation.
So what's going on with our big city sponsors?
Our big city sponsors is brought to you by Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Better protection, better value. They can be reached at 860-496-7771 and on the web at tothins@oponline.net. Mel Brickman and Health Market, located at 16 McDermott Ave, Suite number 1 in Torrington, Connecticut. Better call Mel. He can be reached at 860-307-1128 and on the web at healthmarket.com /local-health-ins. Brooks, Todd, and McNeill Insurance, located at 69 Water Street in Torrington, Connecticut. And they've been keeping an eye on your insurance needs since 1839. They can be reached at 860-598-8753 and on the web at brookstoddmcneil.com. And to Dr. Michael Curry, located at 30 Peck Road, Suite 2105 in Torrington, Connecticut. Pediatric care for over 50 years. He can be reached at 860-482-8177 and on the web at torringtonpediatrics.com.
All right.
Righty,
Thank you mucho to our sponsors for allowing us to bring you the quality community entertainment that we do so at this time.
Yes.
Although some wouldn't call this entertainment. In fact, I was talking to someone the other day, and they we were talking about the show, and they started laughing, and I'm like, "Why are you guys laughing?"
Wow.
And they were kind of reluctant to tell me why they were laughing, but eventually they did break down and tell me why. And they said the reason why they were chuckling at me was because they were in a restaurant one night and the show was on, and they had the sound cut down, and they were like, we were interviewing a guest, and they said they would see like the guest talk, mouth the words, and then they would see us going.
Almost like we knew it was going to be muted on.
Yeah, and it was like, we wish they could say something. So I think we have our model set up for our bobbleheads now.
Right.
Balzolini bobbleheads.
That's it.
Guys,
I'll make those.
We did not plan this, but we're all in the same shade here.
Yeah.
We did not plan this. We're all in like this grayish.
Yeah,
charcoal.
Shade. Yep.
I think gray has been the color of the day the last few, maybe even week and a half.
You know what? I'm glad I missed that spell of no sun.
Yeah.
I really am glad I missed that.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? It's
felt like it was like for weeks.
It felt like it, and each day felt longer because
because of the darkness.
Yeah, it's like get with the program.
I need my vitamin D.
Right.
I need my
That's
vitamin D.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
I have to have it.
Yeah.
I wish I could have bottled it all up and bring it back here for all you guys, but
It's the thought that counts.
That's right.
Even though we're suffering from our vitamin D deficiency.
For real.
it was nice.
Need
I
to get
gotta
out
say.
more. Need to get out.
But as
sorry to interrupt quickly,
Yes.
but I wasn't here for the whole groundhog. Did he see what? Did he see a shadow? Did he not?
Nah,
and what
they
does
said
it mean?
he didn't see it.
If he
folks
saw it,
told
it
us
meant
to.
the end of winter. Is that what it means?
It's an early spring.
No.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they said it's an early spring.
We're going to have an early spring.
Yes, that's what he said.
Well, that's good.
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
If you saw his shadow, it
Then
meant
it
a
wouldn't-
longer winter.
Yeah, a longer winter.
Okay.
Well, already it's starting to get dark like 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it starts creeping up around 5:30, 5:40, then we're getting.
Well, they said we just gained an hour of sunlight, so now the sun isn't going down until about 5:40.
Yeah.
5:40?
Yeah, 5:40. So
Right.
we gained an hour.
Yeah.
And we're going to be gaining an hour by summertime. I think it ends up being 8 o'clock. The sun goes
Okay.
down.
All right.
And now we've got our next caller calling in. So let's go ahead and answer that call.
Great.
Hello, is this Chris?
This is.
Hi, Chris.
Chris.
It's Coryse. I met you earlier.
Yes, you did. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well.
That's good.
Chris, thanks for calling into the show, man.
You got it.
And Chris Maine is with our sponsors, Brooks, Todd, and McNeill, representing to the fullest tonight.
That's right. We had a great chat. Didn't we,
Yes,
Chris?
we did.
Yeah.
We did. At the job fair over there, it was great to see. I thought it was well attended, and plenty of local businesses out there looking for help and get dust off their resume and get out there and look for work.
Although, Chris, I do want to inform you that your relief eventually did show up. And,
He did. Okay.
Yeah, and I unfortunately, Mr. Twombly was in trouble. So,
Yes, he was, man. Frank is going to be on him pretty quick.
yeah. I saw the concern in his eyes, as it were, but hopefully, it won't cause too much consternation in the office.
I'll protect him the best I can.
Well, speaking of protection, Chris, talk to our audience about a little bit about how you try to protect your clients with your insurance coverages.
Well, it's important out there. It's a hard market, as everybody puts in the insurance business. It's a little bit different than it was 5-10 years ago. I specialize in the commercial end of it, and it's tough out there. Now more than ever, you got to get out there and talk to local agents. We have a great service at Brooks, Todd, and McNeill right there, 69 Water Street. We have a 60-member agency run by Stephen Todd.
I'm
We've been
sorry,
around
did you
since
say 60?
1839.
Did you say 60
What's that?
members?
60.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. We put ourselves like a medium-sized agency.
Well, that's a
But yes, I do all the commercial work with it and love it.
that's a beautiful building, by the way, that you guys
Yes, it is.
are in.
Yes.
And they've been there how long?
About 4 years now. And there's a lot of history. Go down to the basement, and there's file cabinets in there, and it's got, claims from, like a fire in 1800. So
Wow.
it's a lot of history down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when fire trucks were horse and buggies, huh?
That's it. Yeah.
So with your commercial lines of business, what are some of the market forces that you're seeing that could either benefit your clients or things that they need to be on the lookout for?
Well, as you know, we've been dealing with a pretty mellow winter. Weather is always a big, problem in the insurance industry. But it's nice to live in New England. We don't have the fires and the hailstorms and all that. So it's been pretty good as far as market trends for weather. Of course, that can change overnight. But I'm sure people out there are seeing cost of replacing even homes are higher now. So insurance policies go up, as well as businesses. All the insurance companies are looking to raise the property coverage and all that. So that does raise premiums, makes it a little bit challenging, just like everything else. But that's why myself and all the agents here really pay close attention to how your building is structured, how it should be insured, and so there's a lot of expertise that goes into it. But I can't stress it enough. It's a conversation that business owners as well as homeowners, you got to talk to your agent, and if you haven't talked to them in a while.
Yeah, Chris, you said it's been mild weather-wise, but we have seen an undescribable amount of rain, which is affecting a lot of homeowners, especially basements. So that has been a big struggle, a big issue. You know, homeowners are now finding out they have these policies, and then their basement is flooded, and then they find out that it's not covered. So, talk to me about how you help homeowners with issues like that, or work through that, or what you how you instruct them or advise them when buying with their homes.
Yep. Water is a very tricky thing. There's flood insurance out there, and there's a definition of a flood. Used to be 3 acres of body of water would make it a flood. So if your home is flooded by natural resources outside, then you have flood insurance. That's not a homeowner's insurance. That's a different policy. It's run by the government. You have to purchase separate flood insurance versus homeowner's insurance, where you can have water seep into your basement when it gets cold again. Frozen pipes, things like that. That's a different kind of cause, and that's you got to check your policy, of course. But those are things that are covered. Things like water backup, and again, as far as the policy itself goes, you have to make sure you read the fine language. Different companies insure it different ways, but water as a source, it depends on how the water gets into the basement. It makes a huge difference. Okay. But I can't stress it enough. Flood insurance is a separate policy, guys. You can get it through an agency, but it's a national federal program.
That's good to know. That's good to know and good to put out there. So good. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
So what other types of situations are you certified to deal with?
So, again, I'm a commercial agent, so I work a lot with workers' comp, property, GL, umbrellas, things like that. And it doesn't matter if you own a bakery or a manufacturing shop. Some of the exposures are still the same, but at the same time, there's some specialty coverages out there. So, again, different carriers have a niche within, let's say, manufacturing versus retail versus building ownership, things like that. So a lot of us, what we call generalists as agents, and then there are some out there who will specialize in, say, car washes or supermarkets, things like that. And the real key with that is you have companies that you work with, closely. So you have a good relationships with underwriters, and that helps out a lot. So I work a lot, me personally, with nonprofits, manufacturing, contractors, things like that.
Okay.
Well, among your other pursuits, I've discovered that you got a little rhythm in your bones.
Oh.
That's right. I'm an old-fashioned rock and roll drummer.
Old-fashioned?
Playing out for years, yes.
Old-fashioned.
Well, I got to say, I've been out there for a while now. I started off in the Hartford area back in the 80s, Even before the hair bands came out there, I was out there playing out.
All right now.
Well, as you know, it's one of our high priorities with Culture for a Cause to highlight music and the arts, and we encourage musicians to really work on their crafts because we want to aid them however we can in terms of developing their skills, helping them with their career goals, so on and so forth. But as a musician, what type of benefits do you find from that livelihood pursuit?
Well, I can't tell you enough how rewarding it is to be, up on stage playing when you're in a good band and you've got great musicians on either side of you, and you can get yourself a good set, and your music's tight, and you can really interact with the crowd. It's very rewarding, and I can't stress it enough. that culture live music
Yes.
can set an area alive, really. And you mentioned calling out the musicians. Yes, I mean, COVID came along and just shut everything down.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of bands fell apart, and it was kind of scary. So I can remember for a while there, we would actually try to rehearse online. It was almost like video thing. We had a guitar player in North Carolina, our bass player was in so.
And it doesn't sync because then there's a lag, and you're like, okay, I don't know
That's right.
who's listening to who. Yep.
Yes. And as a drummer, it's like you couldn't listen to anybody else. It was like a little bit of a delay, so you had to play and it had to play off you. So it was god awful. I hated it.
Who are some of your influences?
Say it again.
Who are some of your influences?
Yeah. Basically, it's the mainstream rock and roll drummers: John Bonham, Neil Peart, Stuart Copeland, Ringo Starr.
Oh, those.
But Ringo is a left-handed drummer who used to play a right-handed kit. That's what makes it sound so unique. Yeah. So he used to come off of a rhythm and do like those drum fills, but he would start with his left hand. That's why they call them funny fills. But that Ringo feel, nothing like it.
Yeah, that's what a class of drummers you just named. I think you'd have to include Ginger Baker in that, Keith Moon.
Yes, absolutely.
But what a great era of music that they represented.
Yeah. It's funny, back in the day, it's easy to get music going with drums and a couple guitars and a bass player, and, you get the guy to sing lead and backup vocals. And then, always adding the keyboards added another dimension. But I think there's a new force out there. I'd be curious of what people think out there of AI music.
Oh.
But with respect to live music, you hear a lot of it in the studio, but I predict that there's going to be a younger generation out there who's going to be able to play live music, but utilizing AI and having more of these production-type songs that you can actually play out live.
Wow.
Like, you couldn't play Boston, that music out, because there's so many effects with the guitars. It was impossible to do it live, but now with AI, you can do that along with the voice. So I predict you get people out there who can have stage presence and then have that safety valve, really, of AI. And I think it's going in an interesting direction. Some people love it, some people hate it. I say it makes life more interesting, and it's how music is evolving, even live.
Yeah. Well, I think if you just look over the past, I can't say, it hasn't been that long, but even in the span of 40 years, the changes, especially on the digital side that's been made in music, I think it's amazing how Prince kind of predicted that whole thing happening. And at the time, we were like, what the heck is he talking about, distributing your own music? What do you do? Like, put your albums in the back of your, trunk in your car? Yeah, I mean, that was our concept of it. But, in when he said that, I would rather be, an independent artist selling my own music as opposed to, having,
behind a label.
Yeah, and
that's when he changed to 7.
Yeah, and he was certainly ahead of his time. So, another one of our late comrades who left us a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We get ready to go soon. Chris, I wanted to quickly ask you, what at the job fair, exactly what was your company looking for?
So we have openings for a commercial producer and a personal lines producer and an account manager for commercial lines. And those 3 require, your license, insurance license, which we would help you. So if you have your license already, fantastic. If you don't, we can always work with you to obtain your license. And then we're also looking for a telemarketer, so if you can deal with rejection on a daily basis, we'd love to have you. And then also we're looking for sales assistance, paperwork-wise. Those two last positions do not require insurance licensing.
And how do they get a hold of Brooks, Todd, and McNeill?
To be honest with you, you can go right to our office, 69 Water Street in Torrington, or you can reach out to our hiring manager, which is Frank Poloni, F. Poloni, P-O-L-L-O-N-I, at Brooks, and that's toddmcneil.com.
And also remind our audience that Poloni doesn't take any baloney. So make sure you go there serious, ready to take care of some business, because Brooks, Todd, and McNeill don't play. Okay? Chris, let's follow up and have another conversation here in a few weeks, man.
Oh, yeah, I would love it.
Great. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks for having me. Have a great night.
Chat
You
soon.
too.
Chris
Bye.
Maine from
Bye-bye.
Brooks, Todd, and McNeill, ladies and gentlemen, taking care of your insurance needs for over how many years?
Since 1839.
That's a long time.
That is
Yeah.
a long time.
You got some shout-outs for us, by the way?
Yes, I do. I got some big T-Town shout-outs. Is sponsored by Torrington Downtown Partners, growing downtown Torrington one business at a time. To Dawn's Getaway at 24 Winstead Road in Torrington, Connecticut. Christie's Restaurant, located at 545 Winstead Road in Torrington, Connecticut. Health Insurance Services, located at 438 Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Wall and Fraunhofer, located at 117 Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. To Soul Latina Cafe, located at 31 Hungerford Street in Torrington, Connecticut. And to Jimmy's Store, located at 1238 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. To 5 Point Art Center, located at 855 University Drive in Torrington, Connecticut. And George's Music, located at 905 New Harrington Road in Torrington, Connecticut. And to our big city sponsors, to Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Better protection, better value. They can be reached at 860-496-7771 and on the web at tothins@optonline.net. To Mel Brickman and Health Markets, located at 16 McDermott Ave, Suite 21 in Torrington, Connecticut.
Better call Mel.
He can be reached at 860-307-1128 and on the web at healthmarkets.com/local-health-ins. To Brooks, Todd, and McNeill Insurance, located at 69 Water Street in Torrington, Connecticut. And they've been keeping an eye on your insurance needs since 1839. They can be reached at 860-598-8753 and on the web at brookstoddmcneil.com. And to Dr. Michael Curry, located at 30 Peck Road, Suite 2105 in Torrington, Connecticut. Pediatric care for over 50 years. He can be reached at 860-482-8177 and on the web at torringtonpediatrics.com.
Thank you so much, Kareem. And we want to encourage you to check us out on our Facebook page, CityViews-CT, and also check out the website at cityviews-ct.com.
Stay tuned next week. We're going to have a great show. It's carnival time. I'm going to put these guys in some beads and some headpieces.
Oh,
I'm not looking forward to that.
We always got to do what these ladies tell us to do, man. What's up with that?
I don't know, but get ready.
Yeah, okay. So you guys got the warning, so make sure that you tune in. We're on for you each and every Tuesday, 6